Court is now in session.
James,
That
were you
applauding.
were you muted? Because I couldn't hear you hitting your gavel.
What?
We couldn't hear it at all. It's so quiet. It's ridiculous.
so quiet.
Matt?
No.
Can you hear me talk?
Yes.
Zoom is blocking out my gaveling.
Yeah, it obviously thinks it's terrible. This mustn't be the good enough sound or something. It's like, it's not a good enough gavel. You're out. Maybe it's your audio
like he's
settings.
ferociously working on something.
He does.
What is that, Brad?
Couldn't hear you there because I'm too busy knitting.
Hey! That is impressive, mate. You got some thick needles there.
It was real hard. Merce kind of taught me how to do it. They're 6.5 inches apparently, which is slightly longer. Oh, I think I've mucked this one up. Oh no.
Is that the most progress you've made so far?
This is how far I've gotten. So I've kind of done a little bit of that. Merce kind of helped me get the first row underway, but then I've kind of been doing it. It's just a pretty simple pattern, but it's actually super hard to do.
Yeah. For those listening at home, how many rows have you done?
This is my 4th row.
Nice. And
we might have to do an update in 2 weeks and see if you've got into the 5th row yet. This looks painful.
I'm not enjoying it, to be honest. It's not therapeutic. It's not relaxing.
I've heard that it's a really good, focusing, calming sort of practice once you get into a bit of a routine with it. But
yeah, but the idea is you swap whatever's on this needle to whatever's on this needle. You just keep going and going and going.
Sure. Can you give us a demo?
Yeah, I can try. So the first step is to get it under here and behind, and you got to loop. Oh, gee. Then you got to loop that over the top in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've done it wrong, but that's all right. Then I think you got to get this back under here and then loop that over the top. Then you've done another row.
Oh, nice work.
So
that looks better already.
So how do you knit something that's not a straight line?
I have no idea. So this is going to be a scarf because it's the easiest thing to do apparently. But yeah, I don't think I can do anything better. I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Fair enough.
Cool. So it's getting there. So I've done 4 or 5 since we started the podcast. So
yeah, good work.
That's getting there. And there's 25 on each. So I'm just going to leave that there in the middle, which is apparently a big no-no. You're not supposed to leave it in the middle of something. But I can't concentrate and do 2 things at once.
That's fair.
That is fair.
Wow. Well,
podcast time. How are we?
Mate, we've done that already.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Move on.
You're busy knitting. You were too busy knitting.
I'm still disappointed that you don't have a meat smoker or something in the background or like a spearfishing gun or something like that.
Unfortunately, no.
Right.
I went all in on the wool. Went to Spotlight, bought some $8 wool.
Yeah, good work.
Yeah.
Nice.
Spotlight is by far my least favorite store.
I've been to Spotlight once before to get a Thor costume for a fancy dress party.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, classic.
And then this time I went in. There's so much stuff in there, but I didn't enjoy it like I enjoy Bunnings.
It feels so sterile. That's just my little bandwagon I'm on at the moment is against the store feel of Spotlight. It's got great stuff. The store feels gross. Every store.
Yeah. I agree.
Not a sponsor, clearly.
Yeah, not a sponsor. No. That was Gavels. We still can't hear you, Gavel, James. Like, it's not making a single sound at all. It's like you're not even hitting it.
Hello, 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 hello.
Oh, there you go.
Hello, hello, hello.
It works when you talk at the same time.
Great.
That's going to be super annoying.
What a pain. It's never done that before.
No, I wonder if it's your microphone's not working.
Am I loud enough, boys?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm glad we're sound checking while we're live on the podcast.
Someone was too busy knitting.
Sorry. I got into the zone. Couldn't stop.
Awesome. Will, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. So I was trying to think of a question to ask you boys, just to see if you've got some good ideas that I can put into storage for the future.
Is the question, why don't you have a hat?
No.
Sorry.
So for those listening at home, Will's the only one without a hat.
That's right. He didn't get the memo good enough to show off to everyone else.
Oh! Or is it because you actually have an over the head headset microphone because you don't have a podcasting mic?
His microphone won't work with a hat. That's why.
My microphone worked fine with the wig last week, so it's not that at all. It's just that I want the viewers to enjoy my luscious locks this week.
All careful, mate. Now you're getting the sensitive areas.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry,
but
you
my
go.
question for you is, what's the best prank you've ever pulled?
Ooh. That's a good question. Back in youth group days, there's not a prank that I've pulled, but a prank that I was a part of was we went to youth group camp, and the girls' dorm and the boys' dorm. One of my mates, Derek, love that guy. He bought a bucket of prawns on the way up to camp and kind of put them in a bag. And then when the girls went there, he threw it into their ceiling for a week-long, long weekend youth camp in the hot tin roof. So the prawns would go off in their ceiling, and their dorm would stink pretty bad all night. I felt bad about that after day 3, and it was stinking terribly, and the juice was leaking through the ceiling. That I helped them get rid of it and chuck it out. So I probably didn't pull that one. That was
an
good.
anti-prank, Brad.
It's a good prank, but it just went too far. It was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah, that's nasty. I think mine isn't like a huge prank, but it worked very effectively. So me and a couple of boys, we were all hanging out together one weekend, and we went to see one of our mates, Ryan, to, go, "Oi, Ryan, come and hang out with the boys." This was in the day when text messaging cost 25 cents if they weren't on the, Telstra 1 cent text deal. And so we were pretty stingy with our text messaging. So we didn't have enough credit. We're like, nah, stuff that. We'll just go around to Ryan's place. We get to Ryan's place, but he's gone out for a bike ride. And his sister's there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. You can wait for him here." And then I said to the boys, "No, we should do a prank. We should scare Ryan. When he comes home, we'll jump out and pretend to attack him." Kind of thing, like a home invasion gone wrong kind of thing. Now that I say it out loud, I sound like a psycho. But so what we did was they were like, "Yeah, that's cool. Let's do it." And so what we did was we got Ryan's sister to call Ryan while he was bike riding to say that the rabbit had got out of the hatch, like the rabbit hatch kind of thing, hutch or whatever it's called, and that he needed to come back to help her find it and put it back in. So Ryan's flying back home to help find this rabbit. The 3 of us boys got a cricket bat or a hockey stick each, and then hid around the corner of the entranceway and put our hoodies over our heads so that you couldn't make out the faces. Anyway, Ryan gets home, opens the front door. We let him go in a little bit, and then we just jump out at him and brandish our weapons and go, "Get on the ground. We want your money." And he fully jumped and started running for a split second before we're like, "Right, it's all right, it's us." But that's the most scared I've ever seen another person face to face. And I look back now and go, "Yeah, that was probably not."
You saw the fear
fair
in his eyes.
Yeah,
They're both such mean pranks.
Yeah. I got some less ones, but they seem lame compared to that.
Well, I've got a long-term ongoing one that I pulled. So my brother got a wallet for his birthday from a good friend of his. So there's a lot of sentimental value attached to this wallet, but it was a Summer Heights High wallet. So on one side, it's got a picture of Jonah Takalua, and on the other side, excuse the French, it's got just a penis drawn, and it's his dictation kind of tag that he would spray paint on stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I hated whenever that side was facing up. So he would have that wallet. It's a really cheap Velcro wallet, but he would have it in his room. And every time I kind of walk past, I just flip the wallet over so that the penis would be showing on the upside. It became what we became known as the penis wallet prank. So I just keep turning it over. And he started to get really mad about it. So then I do things like I would take it and hide it, put it on his dashboard of his car. So he'd just be there. He'd suddenly see the wallet in places he didn't want to see it. Then it started to escalate. I duct taped it to the back of his windshield so that when he hopped in the car and looked in his rearview mirror, he saw it and he couldn't go off because he was already driving. And then on one of his birthdays, I took it, posted it to him in a package. So he got it on his birthday, opened it up, and inside was the wallet. He hated that.
Amazing.
His birthday the next year, I cut out the bottom of his birthday cake and put it in the cake. So when he cut into his cake, he cut into the cake. I'm like, "What's this?" And opened up, there's the wallet.
That's amazing.
Slide up in the cake. And then the last one was when he got engaged to his wife, Alex. We just bought a massive big TV. So we had a massive big TV box. I filled it with all kinds of styrofoam and stuff. At the very bottom, I put just the wallet, duct tape to the bottom of it. And it had some cash and stuff inside it and a little note saying, "Dear Alex, welcome to the family."
Yeah, nice.
So I kind of pretend it was really heavy, brought it inside to their party, their engagement party. they opened up the thing and then dug through this thing and pulled out this wallet. And we got it on tape. They're just pretty filthy about what was in the bottom of the box. So I haven't seen the wallet since. They've kind of hidden it and have no idea where it is. But that was a fun ongoing prank, the penis wallet prank.
That's good. There's a lot of good ideas in there.
That was a great
Did you
one.
say you have the video on tape?
Yeah, he did say that.
I am pretty old, so
I'll go get the VCR out.
I don't think I've done that. I don't think I've done that many pranks on people, to be honest. I think the only one that springs to mind is one time, I pulled a prank on Mel, Will's significant other, where I grabbed all of her desk belongings, I put it on a chair, and I cling wrapped it, then I tied a rope to it, and hoisted it up to the ceiling.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
That's about it.
She did hope you would mention that one as your prank.
Are you talking through podcast ideas with other people?
I may have bounced that question off of her.
Oh no.
Why do we even try?
Mel, get off the podcast.
Mel.
So
To be fair,
she'll be chuffed to hear that. It was a great prank.
it's a good question, Will. Have you got a prank that you want to share?
Yeah, so comes from when I was
It's a
living.
loaded question.
Oh, sort of. Well, I was curious to see what you guys would say is your best prank. So mine, what I would say, it was when I was living in Townsville, and we were living in like this camp full of all the workers who were up there to clean up after the cyclone. And we were staying in a caravan park, and some of the boys found a snake and killed it. And so I coiled it up underneath my cabin mate's bed and just left the head of it sticking out, so that when he opened the door and looked down, all he saw was this snake coming out from underneath his bed. And he is not a fan of snakes, so it went down very well for me.
Someone put a real snake in my bed once. Under the cover. Like, they didn't even leave their head out. So I got into bed, 11 o'clock one night and felt something in my covers. And it was a little scrub python.
Yeah, see, I wasn't sure what sort of snake it was because it wasn't a carpet python. So I wasn't quite prepared to put him in a position where if it was a venomous snake, it would do damage. So, yeah.
Pythons do damage, Will.
They do. But you've got a chance with a python. Like if it was a brown snake, you've not got much hope. So,
the same person also put a snake once around my shoulders while I was carrying my laptop, and I dropped my laptop, and I was not happy.
No. Did it break?
I cracked. No, it didn't. It was a MacBook. It was an old MacBook.
Oh, nice.
That I don't own anymore. And I dropped it on tiles.
Wow.
I also had that same laptop rolled over by a tow truck, ran over it, and it cracked the screen, but the laptop still worked perfectly.
Wow, that's impressive.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It's a good laptop.
Yeah. I bought it in 2011. The Whites had it, and it only just recently passed away.
No.
Not a sponsor.
Farewell, Apple MacBook.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still young and cool.
yeah, you got the lingo. R.I.P.
It's not RIP.
A good prank is worth doing. We should definitely do a few more just to each other and around.
On each other?
Yeah, and probably just in life, I think. A good prank goes a long way. I still remember, sorry, one last one. I just remember this was a good one too, actually. We went up to the top of a mountain one time and we pinned one of my mates to a tree and glad wrapped him to a tree and then drove off. And then got lunch and then came back up and gave him his pie after.
We used to have youth group wars in Cairns where you'd go to another youth group and tie all of them up to trees while they're having youth on a Friday night and then leave.
It's a whole other world in Cairns.
That's what I was about to say. That was crazy.
Oh.
Can't even imagine the duty of care. All right, it's prank night tonight, so we've got a whole new risk assessment to fill out.
Everything's at a 5.
Risk assessment.
Yeah. There wouldn't have been one up in Cairns, that's for sure.
Just see how many people you can fit in the seedy little van.
Yeah, of course.
Well, good question, Will. Loved it.
Yeah. I loved it. I think there's a difference between mean pranks and fun pranks, though. So we got to try and find that line.
Yeah,
Like everyone having hats on except Will. Is that?
that's a fun prank.
Yeah.
Nice work, James.
All
That
right.
was smooth.
Thanks, team. Thank you.
Well, we're going to move into our new segment that we did last week, which, from all reports that I've got from everyone who listened to it, a real top-notch segment, a real crowd pleaser, a Joey favorite already from what I've heard. For those of you who didn't listen, it's a new segment called Roodefined, where basically one of us boys finds random words in the dictionary that no one will know, and then the other boys have to try and come up with the best definition, and the best definition wins. So that's what we're doing, Roodefined. But I've got a theme song for it.
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
So I went away last week because we got put on the spot. Like James was like, last week was like, Ben, you need to come up with the theme song. But he said it just before we started the set, like the recording. And then I didn't think about a theme song because I was too busy talking. And then I got put on the spot, and it was very embarrassing. But I went away and I thought about it. And we've got a new theme song for the Roodefined segment based on Outkast's song Roses, minus any of the bad words. So you boys ready?
I'm
See how this
so ready.
goes.
I'm ready for this.
All right. I've
I'm
got the
more
lyrics.
keen about this. I'm more keen about this song than the game.
You've
I got lyrics here. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine the piano intro of, like Roses. And so when it's like, Roodefined, all the guys would say that they were mighty right, but mighty right only got you somewhere half the time. And the other half either got you laughed out or coming up short. Wait. Roodefined.
Yeah.
So good.
I wish I had the music because it sounds so much cooler when you got that funky like R&B hip hop vibe, but that'll do.
We tried the
voice.
beatboxing last week. It didn't quite work.
Nah.
And I just didn't want to get flagged on YouTube that we were using someone else's material.
Yep.
Then
Fair.
we can't monetize. So
Yeah, there's not
Wow.
much chance of this getting flagged for that. But it was good, Ben. It was really good.
that's the point. But the other thing is I'm putting up a precedent so that next time Will has to do a segment, he has to really come up with a great song. So
Brilliant.
that's it. All right. You boys ready?
Pranks continue.
Pranks
Ready.
continue.
Woo.
Okay, let me find the first word. The first word we're going
How will
with.
you be judging us, Ben?
So I'll judge based on which one I feel does the better job of getting the definition right. So whether that's just they randomly have a word that is also in the definition and no one else had a word that was in the definition, whether it was the spirit of the definition.
Great.
So it's a bit subjective, but we'll see how we go. So the first word that I would love for you to define is this word. Whiffle.
Whiffle.
Can you spell
Whiffle.
that for us, please?
WHIFFLE.
I thought you were actively against putting the H sound in words.
No, that's what. Yeah,
what?
I am. That's why I did it.
Whiffle.
Thought it would sound funnier and potentially be harder to define.
I reckon I know what this is.
Oh, really?
You know how sometimes when you've got a cold and you do a little sniffle, you're
Damn
like,
it!
oh, but it's when you do a sniffle, but you accidentally whiff in a bad smell like someone else's fart, and you're like, oh, kind of at the same time. It's a whiffle.
That's interesting take. Judging this is actually even better than being a part of it. Who wants to go next? Will or James? What have you got? Define whiffle.
I'm realizing there's an advantage to going first because you can use the obvious ones, Brad.
That's why I jumped in real quick every week.
I was going to say it's when someone's got a cold. It's like another term for man flu. So when you got a cold, but you keep whining about it.
Oh,
So you've
nice.
got the sniffles, but you're whining a lot. So it's a whiffle.
Yep, great.
Brad's got a little whiffle.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I am going to go with a different sort of theme
Good.
because you can play a sport that's called wiffle ball. So my guess is that wiffle has something to do with like cutting grooves in a ball so that it like moves around a whole lot more than you expect it to, because that's what a wiffle ball is. It's like full of holes so that it curves more.
You've gone like a combination of whittling and whiffle.
Yeah. So
Whittling, which could have been one of Brad's pastimes, but no. Stinking knitting.
So the whiffle is the name for the holes that are in the ball.
The whiffle is the name for the holes that are in the ball.
Yep.
I think I'm going to give it to Will solely because as he was describing it, he used the word cut. And because you guys were not even really close, you'll see why. To whiffle is to flourish a sword in sword dancing so as to produce a whistling sound.
Mate, I think, weren't you the sword master or something like that on Facebook? This is something you should have known.
When he said, I know this one, I was like, oh, maybe he actually knows this one.
There is no more Brad. There is only the sword master.
Yeah. So yeah, the whiffling is like from sword dancers where it's like that is to whiffle.
It's probably the noise the ball makes too, as it's cutting through the air.
It's an onomatopoeia. Is that what an onomatopoeia is? Wow. Extra points, bonus points.
Well done.
I'll give you 0.2 of a point.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
That's all I need.
All right. So Will's on 1 so far. And that was
James is on 0.2. Brad's coming in last.
I'll put that James is at 0.2. Brad's at 0.
Yes, come on.
Come on.
All right. The next word, this is amazing, is the word spanghew. I'll spell it. Spanghew. Spanghew.
Okay. Oh, I think I need a bit of time on this one.
Yeah, it's not one of those words that has like a really clear, like, I could just do a little pun around it or something silly.
Yeah.
A spanghew. What's a spanghew?
Okay. I think when you're running really fast and you're just like running and you feel something pop, like in your hamstring, and like you get that feeling. I reckon in ancient times, they called that a spanghew. What have you done? Oh, I've just got a spanghew. You've kind of hurt yourself.
Yeah. Because it feels like it goes spang. You're like, ooh,
spanghew. Ooh. Yeah. That's what I reckon it is.
Nice. That's good. James, Will, what do we got?
This is a hard one.
I think a spanghew is like an item of clothing similar to Spanx. But it also replaces deodorant by getting rid of the phew sound. So you don't, it's Spanx, but it's so tight, it also keeps in smells.
I like that. I like it.
Oh, spanghew. I'm going to say that it is. This is my absolute strong suit, as people will have discovered, is coming up with things on the spot.
Good game's a good game, Will.
I know. It is. I'm going to go with it is, and it is the name given.
Surely there's a timeout, Ben.
Yeah,
there should be. It's the name given to somebody that's like a cross between Spanish, English, and Jewish.
Oh, William.
That's awesome, Will. But you didn't get enough words into your definition.
Oh, man.
All
Put us out
right.
of that misery.
Let's do this. So I think Brad gets it solely because he talked about the idea of something being, I don't know. It feels the closest. To spanghew is to throw violently into the air, especially to throw a frog into the air from the end of a stick.
Oh, is this in the English dictionary?
Yeah, because to spang is a Scottish word that means to throw or jump. And so they literally have a note here where they say in the definition, please do not be mean to frogs. Because now that you've discovered what a spanghew is, it's like, don't throw frogs off the end of a stick. Don't go out spanghewing with your friends.
Oh, so like if you're picking up a frog on a stick inside your house to take him outside so you don't damage him with your oily hands, then when you just release,
when
throw
you
them off
throw
the
it
stick.
off the end, you've just
Spang-hued.
spank-hued. Just spank-hued everywhere.
Is it a spang-hued or spang-hue?
No, that would be, I don't even know. That would be to spang-hue, I think. So, yeah, you've just done a spang-hue, however you say it.
Sounds like a vomit.
So, Brad gets 1 point.
Come on.
So Brad's on 1 now, and Will's on 1, and James is on 0.2.
Because I've answered quickly, do I get 0.2 of a point?
No.
That'd be ridiculous, Brad.
Because once you've answered, they can't have an option of answering. So, next one. All right, you ready?
Yep.
This word is potophagy. Potophagy.
Can you spell that for us?
Poltophagy. Define poltophagy.
Poltophagy. A poltophagy is a 3D. It's someone who can read a 3D map.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Well done, James. That's actually a really good answer.
Thank you.
That's
Do I get
very-
0.2 points for beating Brad as well?
Because you were fast, I'll give you 0.2 points.
Rigged. I reckon poltophagy is the process similar to mummification, but done in India instead, where they would pour honey and all over the body and let it become mummified in honey rather than mummified by embalming.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm going to say poltophagy is the process of generating maps that show where all like the telephone and electricity poles are around a suburban area.
Oh, nice. I like that too. That's poles. That's clever.
I'm the only non-map related answer. Come on.
Yeah, and so because of that, Brad actually gets the points in this round.
Can't lose.
Poltophagy is the thorough chewing of food until it becomes like porridge. So Brad gets it because honey goes on porridge.
Come on.
And he had honey in the embalming process. So well done, Brad.
That's fair. Well done, Bradley.
So Brad's on 2. So this now comes basically down last one to James and Will. Who's going to lose? Who's going to be the loser?
Devo. It could still be Brad.
No, Brad's
Because
on
if
2.
Will gets it, isn't it 2-all?
Yeah, then you'll be the loser.
Yeah, but... yeah, no, that's...
Remember,
fair.
our focus is on the loser.
Yep.
Yeah, we're like focusing on the loser.
How's that 0.2 points for you now, sucker?
Yeah.
Damn it.
You need 1 point. Here we go. Here's the last word. Gaiascatus. Gaiascatus. Gyascutus.
Gyascutus was an ancient, monster god that lived in the clouds.
No, it's not. That's not right at all.
Okay.
A Gyascutus is a hole in the ground that shoots up the ivory of dinosaur bones. It shoots up dinosaur bones. Like tusks.
Okay.
A tusk geyser, if you will.
Yes,
So
thank you.
So an elephant tusk geyser.
That's Brad got where I was going with
Yeah,
that.
great. Nice work.
Gaiascatus. Gaiascatus is a name
It's a tusker geyser.
for a bloke that is
Bloke.
responsible for ensuring elephants get to keep their tusks from poachers.
Okay.
Okay.
That's so close to mine again, Will.
Yeah, I know. That's exact. I was literally about to say that because I was going to give it to James because of the elephant reference, but then Will also made an elephant reference. But then I kind of go, well, James said it first. I'll give you the definition. Brad, you can kind of help me out on this one. I think it's between these two because a Gaiascatus is an imaginary large four-legged beast with legs on one side longer than on the other for walking on hillsides.
Come
lives
on.
in the
I
clouds.
also said dinosaurs. That's a beast.
Brad said
Yeah.
it was a mythical creature, mythical being. I feel like he's closer than everyone.
Yeah, but he said in the clouds. But then I was going, it's a four-legged beast like an elephant. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is Brad, actually. What did you say again? It was a mythical beast.
mythical beast that lives in the clouds, like where tops of hills are.
Yeah, you know what? You've made a great point. Brad
That's
wins.
good.
Well done.
Well
I don't
done,
come
Brad.
last.
So,
Yeah.
done,
James,
Presley.
you're last. You know what?
I'm
I'm probably...
judging-
Isn't there one more question? Isn't there 5 questions? I can still not come last.
Nah, there's 4.
No, there's
Oh.
5.
Oh, is there? All right. Well, okay. Well, okay. There we go. All right, Will, you can still lose.
Come on.
No, end it there. End
Hat
it there.
boys.
It's time for the new segment. I'm tapping out.
Oh,
That means it's between Brad and James, and so you can't try and defend yourself. All right. The last word is... I need to pick words that I can pronounce. Myticism. M-Y-T-A-C-I-S-M. Myticism.
That's a disease in your body where, like termites deteriorate wood, your muscles deteriorate.
Interesting.
okay. I'm taking
Brad.
a slightly different tack. It's actually where you've gone to the Amazon jungle and you've got little mites under your skin. It's the process of getting rid of those mites out of them. That's a myticism.
Nice.
Like an exorcism for...
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for mites.
Will, last.
Come on, Will.
Well, see, I feel like my answer is going to be similar to James. Again.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
What did you say again, James?
It's a degrading disease in your muscles, like
Yeah.
termites in timber.
Sure.
See, I'm thinking something along similar lines, like it's an issue with the body.
But Brad said that as well. Brad's was an issue of the body, an ailment.
Yeah, okay.
Most of Brad's have been an ailment.
I
Yeah.
have actually.
Myticism.
What's the word again, Ben?
Myticism. M-Y-T-A-C-I-S-M.
I'm going to say it's a disorder that affects your ability to process certain sounds.
Oh, we have a winner. Will, you're the closest. It's excessive or the wrong use of the sound of the letter M.
Wow.
William,
Sorry.
Well done.
Well done.
pulled it out of the bag, Will.
So
Yes.
James, dead last on 0.2. So
Does that mean I get a wooden spoon?
yeah, just
Sweet.
keep your gavel, mate.
You would have got a wooden spoon if you had 0 points, but because you got 0.2, you're not good enough to have it.
I got 0.4 actually, because I got an extra 0.2 for not being fast.
Oh, that's right. Yes, just to spite Brad. That's right. I
Apologies.
forgot that. Great work. Well done, boys. Good work on the Roo definitions. Great
Hey,
time.
good job.
Love it.
Love it.
Brad's the host for next time, hey?
Yeah, Brad won. Yeah.
Brad wins.
Awesome, boys. Now, while I've got you all here, I'd like to do a quick little sidebar, a little
Sure.
bit of a team meeting. Boom, 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 boom. That simultaneously sounds like this Skype and the Ice Age song. It sounds like a song from Ice Age.
What's the Ice Age song?
When they're in the first movie, when they're trekking across all the ice, it's a boom, 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 boom.
James, how many times have you watched Ice Age?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what you're
I
talking
think I
about.
watched it quite. I'm gonna find that clip and post it somewhere.
Yeah, please do.
But hey, while I got you here, I'd love to have a quick team meeting because I've noticed recently that we haven't been getting a lot of people call in or write in to the podcast, and I can't help but think it's just because the novelty of the podcast has beginning to rub off. It's no
Wane.
longer a novelty anymore. And
Yeah.
I mean, we're a long-standing podcast. We're a pre-COVID podcast.
Yeah.
Heading into episode, what? 16? 17. Wow. And I reckon the novelty is just starting to wear off on people. And I'm wondering what you guys think about perhaps putting incentive to have people call in,
Ooh.
or to call, or to give topics, or to engage.
Yeah, I like that. Incentivize.
Have you had any thoughts of what those incentives might be?
I haven't had any of those thoughts yet, but we're a team, and I feel like I've had the initial thought, and now I'm out.
Yeah, we've got to have some things that we can like incentivize for sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We originally talked about getting those little kangaroos.
Oh, yes.
Like those little, like you can get those little clip-on kangaroos that go on your lapel, on your jacket. Yeah. Is that incentive enough?
It does seem like an incentive to me.
Yeah, they'd be limited edition.
Yeah. I was thinking like one of the incentives could be like, if you come up with a really great one and you convince the court to your view, you get Will's headset microphone so that he has to buy a proper podcasting mic.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
I love it.
So if you convince the court, it's like you actually get to become a member because you now have Will's headset.
I do not love it because this gets utilized for when I'm playing games too.
Yeah, well, you should have thought about that before you didn't buy a podcast mic.
Nerd.
Nerd. Yeah, but I like it. I think there's a whole bunch of incentives we could have.
Yeah, maybe the kangaroo is like we should probably cost this up actually.
No, I think we figure that out later. I think we lock in what we're going to do and then we just bear the brunt of the cost, whatever it is. I mean, Will's headset's free, so that's fine.
Oh yeah, it's so free. Let's be honest. The best incentive to want to talk in is that you get my opinion.
Nah.
Yep.
I'm learning to value that less and less each episode, Will.
That is the only reason anyone should ever want to call in is they want my opinion.
It's an appreciating.
Greatest of incentives.
The opinion they won't get unless asked upon.
Do you know what would be amazing is if our first caller just like comes in with like, you know, what's opinions. And then before we even ask, we goes, great, I've got everything I need. And then just hangs up.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised actually, because in our first season, the first 10 episodes, so much of our recap was about Will. And people calling in about stuff there. So
yeah, well, it's also because he made some outlandish statements.
Yeah.
Kids not bouncing off.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a tame Will at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
We got unleash the. What was the beast? What was the beast word? The four-legged beast.
Let me find it. Gascatus.
We need to release the gascatus in Will. The inner gascatus.
Where's your inner gascatus, Will?
But regardless of that, I think the little kangaroos are a great idea. We'll see if we can get some bulk ones, maybe.
Yeah.
And just anyone who makes it on an episode of the podcast, maybe we give them one of those. But maybe if they're able to take our stance on something and convince us otherwise, maybe there's a more substantial prize.
Well, that's what I was thinking. And even like, I was just thinking, what if we had like a Joey of the season? You know how we do like 10 episodes a season? What if there was a Joey of the season? You get on multiple times or you're engaging on social media and stuff. And we like have our top Joey for season 2. And
like Nelson was for season 1.
Yeah. And Christine, like Nelson and Christine. We have a male and a female for each season. And I don't know.
You were meant to do up a certificate for some people last season, Ben. How did that go?
About as well as the little kangaroos. So I'll do up a certificate and I'll send it to them. But like genuinely, I reckon something like that as well. Top Joeys for the season. Get a special prize.
Yeah. We should actually say what it is though, so people can.
I want to say they get to hang out with us in person, but then I'm like, Christine wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, that's fair.
You come to the next food challenge.
Yeah. And we'll buy you the food that we're eating as a part of the challenge, and you don't have to pay for it.
Maybe it could be something like a gavel.
Ooh,
like a cheaper gavel.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea.
That. Maybe it's like, maybe it's that painting in the back of Will's. And he has to do a new painting each season. So like in the 1 week break we have between seasons, Will's got to do a painting that sits behind him for the whole entire season. And then that becomes the final prize.
I am liking this.
That could be.
We can't give away that painting, but let's do another one.
Well, Will's got a couple of weeks, so Will, you better figure out a painting pretty quick, smart.
Yeah.
That's going to be a real test of Will's commitment to the podcast.
It is. And I'm still nervous because, like we said many times this episode, he doesn't have a podcasting mic. So we'll see.
He does not.
We'll see how he goes.
Well,
Yeah,
that was it. That was
Yeah,
literally it. Thanks for the team meeting, boys. It was great to chat that out.
Brad, can you find out how much little kangaroos will cost?
Deal. I'll do that.
Great. And Will, you can do some painting. James and I won't really do anything.
Ben, you've got to do a certificate.
Oh, sorry. I'll do some certificates. James, great work.
I'm the ideas
delegating.
man. I'm just like I'm the foreman.
Sure.
I'm just dishing out I'm dishing out of the jobs to Ben.
Love it. So good.
Awesome. Blah, 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 blah.
Alrighty. Recommend time.
Yeah.
Well, I got one straight off the bat, and it comes out of our meat episode, but then also something that happened on Saturday. Had some dinner with some friends, and we had some lovely steaks. But we bought them from the same butcher shop that we bought the meat that we had for the meat place, and it just reminded me of just how important it is to have a good butcher.
Mm.
You know, a place that you can go and you're like, you know what, I'm going to pay a little bit more for meat tonight, and I'm just going to treat myself, and I'm going to get myself some really good meat. Like Brad cooked it perfectly. Rach cooked it amazingly on Saturday, but good quality meat makes it easier to cook good quality meat. You know what I mean? Like, it's delicious. So anyway, that's my recommend. If you don't have a good butcher that you go, I can go here and get good quality meat when I need it, find one. Spend whatever money you need to find a good butcher. It makes a difference. And support the local man.
Mate, a butcher for you to check out actually is up the road the other way, up at the IGA there. That butcher there, I don't really like rissoles, but mate, they do killer rissoles.
Okay, I'll have to check out their rissole
Definitely worth a check out.
Yeah.
I'll have a good rissole.
Yeah.
Brad's got a good. Don't you buy like your meat by the cow, Brad?
Well, so yeah, a little bit. We've still got a little bit of that stuff in the freezer, but I should give you an update on that actually, because we pulled out the steaks, like the individual steak things.
Yeah.
We frozen some of those, pulled them out. They were all off. So I'm glad we didn't mention the name of the butcher because I can't remember who it was. But yeah,
Did you
everything else
freeze it?
in the box was great, but just the steaks, I think they must have given them to this on edge, not quite right. So we had to go buy separate steaks, which then I cooked up the next night, and then from a butcher, perfect.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah, that sucked. So we weren't happy about that. But my recommends on a food train as well.
Yeah, nice.
We had dinner with friends the other night, and I introduced it to this special dip. You can go to Coles and get these little jars, like they're like terracotta jar, like pots with different types of dip in them. And this one was goat cheese and black truffle. It sounds super fancy, but then, which is, it's kind of nothing on its own. But our friend, who we can't name on the podcast because they're a friend of the show, drizzled some honey on the top of it. And it was honestly the best dip I've ever had. So much so that I went and bought some yesterday to just share with Merce because we went to the shop. And she had about 5 things. And I ate this whole pot in one sitting of goat's cheese and black truffle.
Wow. You didn't get any mid slices as well?
No, I wasn't allowed because I got the
dip instead.
But I would not recommend eating it all in one hit because I was up for like an hour in the middle of the night last night on the toilet, just feeling terrible.
Oh,
yeah.
gross.
I think that's more my dairy intolerance rather than anything else. So
Brad, you're an animal.
That's disgusting.
Only a little bit of regret though.
Is it black truffle? That sounds really fancy.
It's like it comes with a little separate packet. You got to cut open and sprinkle it in the top of it, so it's kind of on top.
Yeah.
And you just keep doing little sprinkles every layer of dip you go through with your little drizzle of honey. Oh man,
you're a fancy man, Brad. You're a very fancy man.
I do like my fancy foods.
That's slightly classier than mint slice.
Definitely.
Well, boy, whoa. I just attacked my microphone. Oh, microphone. That's nice.
Yeah.
I've got a controversial recommend for the podcast this week, but it's still down the food and beverage train. So, Will, I hope you follow suit.
Otherwise, it'll be like the hats all over again.
But this is my recommend for this week. This is a stovetop espresso maker.
Oh.
And this is quite a large one. We got a smaller one, but it's drying at the moment because we used it. I think this is the best coffee that I have ever had made from home.
Really?
Yep. So I've been on this as like stovetop coffee bandwagon for maybe just under a year. I am loving it. It's so easy to make, and we grind our own beans now and everything. You put your little coffee in the top, water in the bottom, put it on the stove. The heat of the stove makes the water rise up, and it goes into this little bit. Science and coffee, so much fun.
Mate, as someone who doesn't appreciate coffee, I'm disappointed in that, but I'm glad you found something that you love. Like, that's great.
Also, I should be a salesman because that was a great spiel.
It was. Even the sounds and everything, you did it smooth as. Well done.
Nicely done.
What about you, Will?
Yeah, I'm not doing a food themed one this week.
Typical. Not playing by the rules.
Out on his own.
Forever the island. But my recommend for this week would be a nice thing actually to go along with the robe Ben recommended a little while back.
Oh, nice.
And that is to get yourself a pair of sheepskin moccasins.
Oh, I wish you had them with you.
I
don't mind. The screen's very bright. Let's see.
It's about to blind me. Was that?
I know.
Bright moccasins.
I can't see past the crack.
Yeah, dude, do you have a crack in your screen?
Yeah, I've had it for a couple of months now.
My recommend would be to get that fixed.
As you've probably figured, I'm pretty stingy with money, so
it's a pretty expensive phone.
My phone still works, so.
Mate, do you want to put the link to the moccasins in the show notes? Since you got the URL on the video for everyone else.
Yeah, why not? There you go. Go and buy them.
Oh,
you just locked your screen.
But I have had a pair for a very long time, and they are awesome.
How many years?
I reckon at least 5.
Oh, that
it goes with your flannelette sheets, mate.
Oh,
that's right.
It's supreme.
I got just a quick question for you guys. Do your feet get sweaty in like moccasins and Ugg boots and stuff? No?
I just bought Ugg boots, and I suffer from sweaty foot. And I think the Ugg boots actually either make my feet sweat less or just absorb the sweat, and I don't realize.
Well, because I've got a pair of Ugg boots too that I love, but I think after a while, the Ugg boots don't keep absorbing them like they used to, and I get real sweaty feet in these Ugg boots. So maybe that's just a warning to go get new Ugg boots.
Go get some moccasins then, Bradley.
Okay.
Way better than Ugg
I'll
boots.
check them out in the show notes.
I've never owned a pair of slippers before in my life. So these Ugg boots are the closest things. I feel so proud.
Is that because you're from Cairns and you don't wear shoes at all?
That's partly the reason, yeah. Mate, I used to wear no shoes to the grocery store. Welcome to Wynnum. Welcome to Cairns, sorry, I meant Cairns.
Wynnum's not far off though either. Love it.
So good.
Brilliant. Oh, very good. Well,
good session in the court, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you like, subscribe, bell on, all those good things. Like the Facebook page.
Will, have you subscribed to our YouTube account?
I have subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Brad?
Absolutely. I've done it twice, in fact.
Oh.
How?
How many are we up to?
Well, I've subscribed. I'm genuinely worried how many actual people have subscribed. If Brad subscribed twice, Will and I have subscribed. James, you have?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, yeah. James.
No, it makes sense. James wouldn't wear his own merch.
I'm not going to wear my own merch.
He's not going to subscribe to his own YouTube channel.
We have 23 subscribers at the moment, so let's try and bump those numbers up, hey?
Wow.
There's a reward.
A reward.
If you're our 50th subscriber, we'll give you a prize.
You get a kangaroo.
You get a real life kangaroo as a pet.
Love it.
Cool. Court adjourned.